That's right, comic fans. It is the most wonderful time of the year. We are finally at the greatest day of the year. It's Free Comic Book Day. Free Comic Book Day is upon us. As I filmed this, we're about a week away, and gosh, I always get excited this time of year. This event it means a lot to me. Um, and today I'm just going to talk about why. I want to talk about why I get so much joy out of Free Comic Book Day. What I think is awesome about it, what I think maybe could make it a little bit better. And I guess that's how we'll leave it. But Free Comic Book Day, man, Free Comic Book Day is really special to me for a number of reasons. But the primary reason, the chief among them all, is that Free Comic Book Day is my comic book anniversary. The Free Comic Book Day is the day that I started reading comics now 4 years ago. That first Saturday in May 2019 was May the 4th. I remember it well because it was Star Wars Day. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be the dad of the year. My daughter, who is very much into art of all types, I was like, all right, we're going to have a nice daddy-daughter day. I've been seeing these advertisements for this Free Comic Book Day. There's a shop not far from the house, so we're going to venture out, go to that shop, and then we're going to go to the local minor league baseball team because it was Star Wars Day, and they were having a Star Wars-themed baseball game. How do you make a baseball game Star Wars-themed? Well, you put Yoda and stormtroopers on your jerseys. That's how you do it. So we went to Free Comic Book Day that morning, and it was way cooler than I expected Free Comic Book Day to be. I mean, there was the regular storefront, and then 3 doors down, they had rented out another storefront, and they filled it to the brim with basically old back issues that they were selling for $1 a piece. And not only that, but they had local artists come out, and they had local cosplayers come out. They had sculptors and all sorts of stuff. And so it was just like this sort of mini Comic-Con, Comic Expo, and they had the free comic books, and they had a sale on all the regular comic books in the store. And so if this was your first experience with comics, it was designed to get you hooked. And that's exactly what happened. So I grabbed a bunch of books that reminded me of the stuff that I would grab as a kid. I grabbed like some 90s Wolverine and Spider-Man, a random Supergirl book. And yeah, that's what I grabbed. My daughter grabbed a bunch of free comic books that ended up in my short boxes eventually. And I walked out of that store with a weekly habit. It wasn't long after that I started buying comics on their live shows. I won a copy of House of X #1, but it was a rare ratio variant, so I had to go into the store and get a different copy so I could actually read it. And that book got me hooked. So that's what started me on the pull list. And here we are 4 years later. I'm still reading comics every week. And not only that, I'm now talking about them on YouTube 3 times a week and talking to you in this podcast episode about why I think comics are so dope. Now, Free Comic Book Day it's a retail holiday. It's as commercial as Valentine's Day, or I don't know. I feel like it's even more so commercial because it's literally a shopping day. It's the Happy Honda days. It's Toyotathon. Like, it's a day designed for you to buy comic books, and you know that going into it, yet you still do it willingly because it's amazing. The publishers pull out all the stops. The publishers generally will use this time to promote whatever their new summer event's gonna be. So like last year, for example, 2022, the Free Comic Book Day issue was like a teaser for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Armageddon Game. And that event is still going on right now. It won't be over before Free Comic Book Day this year. DC used it to tease Dark Crisis last year. Marvel used it for, what did they use it for? The Judgment Day event. And so it's that. But I think more than promoting like a new season of regular comics, I feel like it's just this is the one day of the year that I feel like the local comic shop shines. As someone who is in my local shop 2 to 3 times a week, and have been for the last 4 years, comic shops feel like a relic of the past. Like they feel like some sort of forgotten wasteland a lot of the time, especially depending on where you shop. Sometimes the store is like dingy. It's not well organized. It's a ghost town. Like there are not a lot of people in there shopping. And the comic shop just kind of ends up feeling like some place that no one really wants to be, but they go there anyway. But on Free Comic Book Day, it's the busiest place on earth. I mean, there's a line wrapped around the building all the time. There's children. I never see kids at the comic shop, but they're there on Free Comic Book Day. There are parents looking frantic and frustrated behind the super bright and excited children. There's a bunch of people who are like, oh man, I didn't know comics were still a thing. And so they're flipping through back issues and stuff. And they're like, oh man, I loved this when I was a kid. And there's just so much joy on so many people's faces. And I love it for those of us who, you know, are in the hobby regularly. For me, it feels like this is the day that we're going to meet new people and they're going to be just excited as we are about whatever the thing. I know 2 years ago, I helped an older woman find a bunch of Milestone comics. Maybe that was last year. But anyway, it's just always fun. It's really fun every single time. And so I just love Free Comic Book Day. So I love it because, again, it's the day that the local comic shop gets to shine. Of course, you know, it's one of the biggest shopping days of the year for comic book fans. So your local shop generally will end that day well into the black. Like it rivals Black Friday in the Christmas season for a lot of shops. So I love that economic boost for the local business. That's dope. But I also love the sort of injection of excitement around comic books. Like it's always fun to see the people who walk into a comic shop for the first time on Free Comic Book Day and then are still there shopping 1 month, 2 months, 3 months later. Like that's always fun as well. So the boost to the shop, the boost to the fandom, and I feel like I've mentioned this already, but it deserves its own bullet point. The third reason I think Free Comic Book Day is so amazing is the children. It's not often that you see a kid in the comic shop. It's really not. But on Free Comic Book Day, they come out in droves. And it's nothing to see a little kid dressed up as Spider-Man or Batman or Black Panther. It's almost always one of those three. Every now and then you'll see a Wonder Woman. But it's typically those three. And they are just the most excited looking little humans on the planet. They're in the line. They're trying to decide which books they're going to grab for free because there's usually a limit on how many you can pick up. And they look so mesmerized by the comics. They're so excited. My shop typically brings out cosplayers, and I always love that as well because the kids see the adults dressed in cosplay, and of course to them it's just, oh wow, that's the Peacemaker, not oh wow, look at the weirdo in the Peacemaker costume. So I love seeing this, just the pure joy and wonderment on the kids' faces. It's kind of like watching kids go up to the mall Santa Claus. Like, it's charming, even if you know it's not real. So I love that. I love having the privilege of often like explaining to parents which comics are good for their kids to read, and which books will be exciting for them, depending on their taste, depending on their age level. It's just fun. I'm grateful in that I have a relationship with my comic shop that I get to just kind of pretend to be a clerk for the day, and it's just fun. It's fun to share the love of comics with a new generation. So comics or Free Comic Book Day is great because it's a great day for the LCS. It's a great day for the fandom. It's a great day for the next generation. And it's even cool for the publishers as well. You know what's funny is that the free comics are probably the my least favorite thing about Free Comic Book Day. Often the free comics are really just promotional material, like looking to advertise the next event for the comics, you know, because comic book has or comic book publishers, at least the superhero publishers, do big events every summer. When I got into comics, it was the House of X, Powers of 10, and Absolute Carnage were going on. And then after that, we got the Ten of Swords event. And after that, we got the King in Black. And after that, we got Avengers, X-Men, Eternals, Judgment Day, and so on. There are so many comic book events all the time. And because there are so many comic book events all the time, it doesn't feel special when, you know, DC and Marvel decide to promote their next thing. So for DC, we're getting Night Terrors. And I think for Marvel, it's like Carnage Reigns or something. And the Fall of X is coming. And Hickman's got Ultimate Invasion coming in 2023. So there's a bunch of events and things to promote. And that just, to me, as a regular comics fan, just kind of feels like, I don't care. What I am excited for, to see the cosplayers, to see the kids get all excited about the cosplayers, to see the sales. My local comic shop typically will do like a buy one, get one sale or something of that sort on all of the merchandise that's not free in the store. So this is a chance to grab that little statue that you've been looking at, but it's $50 and you can't quite justify the $50. And so it'll be $25 if you grab it today. You know, catch up on some old trade paperbacks. I need a copy of Invincible Compendium Volume 2. I need a copy of Usagi Yojimbo Volume 5. So I'll probably grab those Free Comic Book Day. And I enjoy that as well. Who doesn't enjoy savings? But I think this year, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to hit up as many comic shops as I can. I'm going to go on a Free Comic Book Day tour and just see what we come up with. I want to show to the internet like what Free Comic Book Day is like for those of us that get to partake. And who knows, maybe Free Comic Book Day 2024 will be even bigger because, you know, we shed some light on it. That'd be cool. Not to say that I'm like some all-powerful being, but hey, you do what you can do, and you can't do any more than that, right? Now, some things that I think would make Free Comic Book Day better. I think I'm fortunate in that my LCS does really well and really makes an event of Free Comic Book Day. They even partner with like other local businesses in their little area, and they'll give out free food and all sorts of stuff. So I mean, it's a great time. I've literally gone for Free Comic Book Day and just sat at the shop all day like it was Disney World or something. But I do think that if the general public knew more about Free Comic Book Day, knew that it was happening, maybe we'd get more participation, like more kids than we get now. And I mean, the way I feel is the more kids you have in the hobby, the longer you get to have a hobby. So I think maybe the direct market could do a little bit more to engage with their local communities, but honestly, that's asking a lot of these small business owners who are in a shrinking market, if not a dying one, you know? So, but I think as more comic shops embrace the idea of free comic book day, um, and as much as the fandom doesn't just, or a potential fandom doesn't just look at it as a day to, you know, get everything you can get for free and not support the people making it happen, then we can have a really awesome day like we already do. And I guess those are my quick thoughts on Free Comic Book Day. I think, I don't know, man. You're not going to get me to say anything bad about Free Comic Book Day again. It's my comics versary. And it, as far as I'm concerned, outside of like my wedding anniversary and maybe my kids' birthdays, it's right up there. It's top 5 days of the year for sure. I think Free Comic Book Day beats Thanksgiving. There's a hot take to end the episode. So if you're listening to this before Free Comic Book Day, May the 6th, 2023, I want to encourage you to go to freecomicbookday.com. You can see all of the books that are going to be there, so you can decide which ones you want to prioritize when you go. You can find a local comic shop that's participating by going to freecomicbookday.com. If you have a shop near you, I highly encourage you to attend. If you've got a kid in your life, I don't care if it's your kid, your nephew, your neighbor's kid. I guess that's about as far as it goes. Like, it's got to be a kid that you know. You can't be kidnapping kids to take them to the comic shop. Like, that makes you weird. So, but grab a kid and take them to Free Comic Book Day. I think introducing them to graphic novels, to comic books as a way to encourage reading is amazing. As a parent, my 13-year-old, she's been going with me to Free Comic Book Day since she was 9, which is wild. She was actually 8 because she's not quite 13 yet. But anyway, she's been going with me every year, and she always finds something that she's interested in, whether it's a Catwoman book or a Dog Man and Cat Kid book, or she loves the 13 story Treehouse. Like, there's so many books that she was exposed to first through the comic shop, and that now she picks up at her local library, at the school library. So introducing kids to books, getting kids reading in a time where we are just so connected to our phones and other media, I think is always a great idea. So get out there, go to your local shop, bring a kid, bring your wallet, support the shop that's actually putting on this awesome event for you, and have a good day. Have a great Saturday morning in May. I'll see you guys soon.